You see the topic of discussion? Welcome to the graffiti jungle. We're going to be reacting to Sha'Carri Richardson airport video. So, if you have not seen the video, link is in the description box. If you have not seen the video, link is in the description box. Feel free to look at that. And let's do the intro. So, welcome to the graffiti jungle. Palupu lingue. Benvenuti nella giungla del graffiti. Questo è Impostore Rockstar, a podcast sui Sha'Carri. Sono tuo capo, io sono Chief Gihareh Julius Caesar Gihareh. So welcome to the graffiti jungle. This is the fake Rockstar chat show, formerly known as Tangential Thoughts chat show. I'm your chief, Gihareh. Usually it would be nice to have some cigars or tobacco, but we're working without it. So Cigar Talk Podcast will be up and running at some point again. All right, anyway, we got Sha'Carri Richardson was arrested at the airport. So as you can see from the screenshot here, that it happened, well, she was arrested on July 27th. So that was about 2 weeks ago. So I hadn't heard anything about it. I didn't know anything, what was going on. And so, as you can see, she was charged with assault, 4th degree, DV, so domestic violence. And there's just a few things to unpack here and to talk about. So I'm just going to go ahead and react to this. So I think TMZ, who knows what TMZ actually stands for, but I think they released the footage. How they got it, who knows? How did they know? Who knows? Anyway, so let's see. Riva, she'd be like, on the wonderful world of TikTok, but for me, it's on the wonderful world of threads. So I'm just scrolling, and then I see a video. So I posted that original video, but it was like zoomed out, it's kind of like far away. And then just made another video so you can see like better footage. It's actually a little bit more like it's up closer, so you can actually, you know what I'm saying, boom. Now, a couple things to note from the video, just a couple quick reactions. It's not about taking any sides or anything. It's just, Sha'Carri is I don't want to say like a polarizing figure, but and again, I'm not going to try to speak for everyone, you know what I'm saying, just, in my humble opinion. But, it seems as if, especially in the Black community, she is, like we're rooting for her, you know what I'm saying, to win and to do well. And so a couple, the way her career kind of started is always marred, if that's the word, or just, what originally comes up with her is the Olympics, right? So as skilled and as talented, as hardworking as she is, she wasn't able to participate in the Olympics because, for her, she was like, her mother had passed, and, so she started using things for recreational use, to help cope with. And the thing about that A rose in a cornfield is a weed. It's a botanical slur. But she was using those things and for recreational use and or just, to help her cope. And the thing about that, I think, was that was one of those. It was tough because we didn't get to see her perform in that instance, and the thing about it, it was the timing, you know, and say that because I think it's well known that some of the greatest Olympians with the most medals, swimming through like a shark in the water. No Michael Jordan Phelps, you know. Also, I think he's known to dabble in a rose in a cornfield. It's called a weed. So it was the timing, because the thing about I think the one thing to learn, especially like with anybody who's been before you or anything like that, is just the fact that it's a season, and they talk about the whole thing. Just I know I'm going really off topic, but like for instance with Noah Lyles, and it's like I think Cameron or is what it is talked about like bro, you're only mentioned or talked about for just this brief moment in time. Like it's not like months consistent on end, and like it's just once every 4 years for a brief moment. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's not consistently throughout months, throughout a year, this and the third. And so one of those things was even it was if she would have just waited a couple months, till she was out of season and past the point of, being checked or anything like that, it would have been, she would have been good to perform and there'll be a whole nother conversation. Like she would have been able to participate in those Olympics, So like that was the big thing about that. It was just the fact that knowing you're in season and potentially may be checked and you're up going for the Olympics, like to put a pause on that and divert your energies towards, whether it's training lightly or just doing some work here, just doing some other things, some other activities, writing, journaling, creativity, whatever, blogging, anything. You know what I'm saying? Just even talking about it, going to therapy. That, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't necessarily go to therapy, just being able to talk about it, go from your mind. Just they say talking is therapy. So just doing whatever and finding a safe place to vent. Like that's why I encourage some people just get out and just get a vent and just sit there just and be creative. And they say that those types of instances and things really bring out some creative aspects to you. So like finding ways to channel that. So, but there's the other quote: the best gateway drug is trauma. So yeah, the big thing about her initial incident was the fact that if she could have waited, it was just the timing of her using. Then, and it wasn't even like the performance enhancing. It wasn't even like you know what I'm saying. It wasn't even none of that stuff. And so it was just yeah, but the lesson thing from there was just the timing. She could have waited a couple months just to really whatever and just got through, what I'm saying, up until that moment. That was one, right? I think that was the big thing about that. Like, it was just the timing of it, knowing that you're going up and you're in season. And so to tone down and get through the Olympics, get through the Olympics, and then after that, you could have the ball the time of your life. You know what I'm saying? Boom, and then continue to excel. So, however, from there though, it led to this redemption arc. You know, she had even if she lost certain sponsors and whatever, she was able to. It was still in the black community. It was like, yo, like sometimes it's like a level of understanding. The black community was still on some, you know what? It's like she had just lost her mother, and this isn't like, you know what I'm saying, the end all be all. So it was like, and so She may have lost certain sponsors, but then you saw her in the Kanye video. I think No Child Left Behind. That was a really good. It was like just you started seeing her in other commercials and stuff, and then you started seeing her perform, either with wins and losses. She took a couple losses, you know what I'm saying? Um, and so, but it was still nice to finally see her perform, win, get the gold, and participate and shine, really, you know. So once after that, right, it was you haven't really. It's not too much you've heard the same from her, unless it was her being at a race, her coming within the top few within the race, and she might take her wig off, for, you know what I'm saying, for dramatic effect. But she was racing. She'd been doing her thing. And I think the last time I saw her, it was, I think I Show Speed was trying to race her or something. And so it went from there. I think it was, I don't know if it was a celebrity game. It had something to do with the NFL. She was there. But she was like, I ain't racing this and that. You know, she was like, yo, like, if I'm going to race, I'm getting paid to race. I'm doing this and that. Boom, like, you know, like sometimes people who are in certain fields, like for instance, like, I'm just say like a boxer or a gymnast. Yeah, like a boxer or a gymnast, or, you know what I'm saying? Outside of the boxing ring or outside of being on the actual gym floor and a mat around, you know, trainers and that there, they won't be just randomly doing their activity or sport or whatever, just even for the potential of an injury or anything like that. Like they pretty much save most of that stuff in a decent space for, you know, for a decent space. I don't know how to tell, but when they're most likely performing in practice and under regulated and controlled environments, right? So I think that was, yeah, that was the last time. I think Actual Speed was just trying to race her, and she was like, yeah, that's not what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was like some NFL thing, I think. And then, but other than that, it's really just you just been seeing her race and perform and do her thing. Now, so then I'm scrolling on the wonderful world of threads, and then I see the video, and I'm like, well, when the hell this happened? You know what I'm saying? And you know, you got to try to verify and check, and then it's like, well, shit, like that's actual whatchamacallit. So now to actual the video. So you don't know what happened before. You don't know what leads up to, right? You just see what is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like if this is all you seen was based off of this, right? And so as soon as it comes within like of on the camera shit, she's pushing him. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of pushing, and so I haven't there is no sound to the video, and so so you're not sure what she's saying or anything. Like now, there's a couple things that really like you start to look at this. So she's pushing him. She pushes him a few times, pushing and shoving, and like there's one point she pushes him when the video first starts. She like pushes him like on screen, and you know his demeanor the entire time is uh, looks as if he's trying to like move around or get away, and so like kind of sort of moving, walking, and then she pushes him again. There's another point like, and the entire time it looks as if he's trying to move around, like get away, and she keeps like coming after him and pushing him. So the entire time she is giving off the aggressor, and at no point does he try. There's no point in this video within this whatchamacallit does he try to like really defend himself. He might try to shield like this, like literally pushing him. She gives him like a really good pushing, like they push him off the screen behind some pole or whatever, some column, and then again he's walking and he goes to try to like so mind you, uh, that big walkway in the airport. where it's like, okay, you go over here for your gate, you go here for your gate, you go here for your gate, you go here, like that walkway, right? So, and I think there might be a stand with like the food court over there, or whatever is right over there. So there's this big way, and people are moving and walking through, and so it starts on one side. She's pushing him, and he's like kind of walking this way, and then he comes back over here. He's by this column. She pushes him again, and then he's like trying to walk over. He like eventually walks over to the other side, and the entire time she's pushing him and shoving him. Well, I'm not gonna say the entire time, but she pushes him a good maybe 3, 4 times. No, let me not exaggerate. There was for sure 1, 2, maybe like 2 to 3 times. You see like a really good push and shove, and but she's like, it's almost like a hyena. Like she'd be circling him, like he's trying to move away, and she's like circling him and moving around him. And yeah, at no point does he give any type of, does he show any type of aggression towards her at all. So again, not sure what happens before, but at no point is he showing any way to like defend. He's trying to get away. And so those are things to like look at, right? The entire video, he's trying to walk away from her. He seems calm. But again, you can't hear any noise. It's just a silent video. And he's just trying to get away from her. That's what it seems like. And even at one point when he walks to the other side, she almost walks away and then comes back. You know what I'm saying? So, and mind you, it led to her arrest. So a couple things that people notice is, one, this is in public. It's at an airport. And one of the things was everybody just kept walking. Everybody just kept walking past. Like, not that it was like not that it's normal or anything, but either to ignore the situation. Some people even like look and just keep walking. And so that one thing was the, I'm not sure if it's even called a bystander effect, but nobody does anything to, well, I mean, you know, it's also like, what the hell would you do, right? Like, would you really, would somebody really step in between them two? You know? So I guess that's another thing. Like, you actually, you know, sometimes you like put yourself in as one of the whatchamacallits. If somebody was there, they'd probably put their phone out and say like, oh my goodness, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Who would actually go up and in between, like, hey, maybe you should stop or calm down, or is there any, I'm trying to think, is there any, what word could you say, right? What word could you even say, like, hey, do y'all need help with anything, or is everything all right? I'm trying to figure out what the hell you could say if you were to walk up, right? Because it's going to take a little moment. It's going to take a little moment for you to try to figure out, well, what could you possibly even say to like interject. And so, hey, is everything all right? Everything going okay? Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Anything, I don't know. And so, but nobody stops or nobody interjects or anything like that. So, and I guess like if you actually say that, that's one thing, right? The other part was, because it is literally like some people just like kind of like walk past, and some people like trying to move their stuff or something. I think there's one man like moves his bag or something, I don't know. And but I think the other part was roles reversed. If it was him, if at any point in time he decided to defend himself, if at any point in time he decided to, you know, restrain her, this went the third, boom, boom, you probably then would have saw some people like try to like, it would have been much more of a commotion. How about that? It would have been much more of a commotion. If at any point, if like the roles were reversed. So if roles were reversed and it was the man being the aggressor, there would have been much more of a commotion. Like, whether people stopped it, it would have still been people crying around, or somebody would have said something. So there's the thing right there. But yeah, I think some people notice that like the fact that it was public, then you don't know how far it would or could go in private. And that's that one of those scary things, right? That's one of those scary moments. You don't know, and but you sometimes people see just like, okay, if it's in public, it's the scary part is just knowing that it's in public. And if it was willing to go this far in public, then probably could go way further in private, right? And so there's the context, mm, but the other thing to note, so it was that the fact that it was public. You don't know how far it would have gone in private. Nobody is making a commotion about this. However, if roles were reversed, there would probably be a much more commotion, and it probably wouldn't have lasted as long. Maybe it would have been much more uproar. And then I think the other, like, oh, it's just one thing I just like always, whatchamacallit, is for a woman to put her hands on a man is always, there's something, like, because a woman knows that she cannot, I'm just going to like a blanket statement, but for the most part, a woman cannot overpower a man or anything like that. So a woman putting her hands on a man is a very dangerous, you know, space to be in. And it's just there's the rationale is out the window, right? Rationale is out the window at that point. If you're stepping into that space and into that realm, stepping in that space and into that realm, it's not a lot. Like I can like some people like if she probably doesn't respect you, yeah, that's a whole nother one call, right? But it's just you don't see a lot of, like I remember having this conversation before, like you don't see a lot of fights, you know what I'm saying, after a certain age and time, because it's like you as a man, you understand like how very well dangerous it can be, how far it can go. You know what I'm saying? Especially if there's no restriction and you know what I'm saying, anger is involved, like you don't know how far it can will go for it, you know what I'm saying, when it's something will end. So that's why it's just so there's not much understanding for when a woman does that. It is not much understanding for the mental space of that woman or anything like that. And it's just, I'm trying, is anything, yeah, it's just, that's just not something that you can really understand. It's very dangerous. That's all that's all I just know. Like a woman doing that is just very dangerous. Cause the other part of it is, oh, thinking that a man will not react or not try to defend, or you know what I'm saying, that you'll be safe after that. You see what I'm saying? If a woman either does or it's again after a certain age, you kind of know right from wrong. You know, don't like I explain certain shit to you. So to be like that is a yeah. I might have to explain certain shit to you, but oh the trying to what I was gonna say is like taking advantage of saying, you know what? Oh, a man's not gonna, you know, put his hands back on type thing. That is to try to you take that to your advantage. That's not smart. That's not smart. It wouldn't give that doesn't give you the green light, even if you know that a man, just because of his demeanor or where he grew up, his upbringing, whatever, and that he won't react to, or saying this and that third in a negative light. But yeah, that's not okay to try to take advantage of that. Nothing, and it's nothing really ever causes, you know, for anybody, man or woman, what I'm saying? Nothing really ever. When you sit there and really thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? Hands and feet. Like what really ever pushed is something that far. There's not too many just so for instance, like apparently there was this one guy, he finds out, I think it's in Detroit or something like that. Dude finds out that the 3 kids with his wife are not his. He shows up at her place of business with start whipping things up. Yeah, no nightstick, but crystal. If you can understand what I'm trying to say here, crystal whip. Crystal rhymes with crystal. Cool whip. And so people in the comments was like, I'm not saying you should. I ain't saying this right. But I understand. So, with this instance, been coming at the airport, either coming off a plane or waiting for this and that. It doesn't know, but it was probably something said. There's probably something said, some type of information, but what could the information be that makes you, do that? Not sure. Not sure. So, let me know what y'all thoughts or reaction from the situation was. Do you have any other, varying viewpoints or takes? Anything that I did not mention? Again, it was nice to see her perform and, do well, but her first instance, with the whole, a rose in the cornfield is a weed. That, they don't even say like what you. This is different. It's 2025 though. I don't think it's a year for the Olympics. So, she'll be back competing and racing. I'm not sure. It did say release date is to be determined. So I'm not sure if she. Okay, so yeah, she was arrested on the 27th. She was released the next day on the 28th, and there was a race. She had a race that she was supposed to. I think it was just 3 days before a race or something like that. So, so yeah. But it's whatchamacallit it now is making the rounds now because the footage was just released. This footage was just released, and so more was coming out. But so this was about 2 weeks ago. And that is that. But the footage just came out, I guess, yesterday technically, which was on Thursday. So yeah, she got out, and I think she competed. I think her boyfriend competed. She got scratched from some race or something like that. I don't know. There was some type of Olympics. There was some type of like races and semifinals and stuff like that. So yeah. But yeah, let me know if you have any other thoughts, opinions, or varying, aspects, perspectives, to the situation.